Welcome to the Pathway. Have you ever had a night out on the town down at Music Hall to listen to the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra? Isn't it amazing to hear just all of the instruments, all of the musicians coming together to just create this masterpiece, this feast for our ears? I don't know if you know this, but it takes about 90 musicians to play a typical symphony. And they're playing violins and clarinets and oboes, and there's drums being played. And some symphonies, like Beethoven's Ninth, it actually takes 120 musicians to pull together that piece of music. Well, as I think of those nights, it reminds me of what we are looking at today in Matthew 25. And verses 14 and 15 read as this. It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country who called his own servants. And he delivered these servants his goods to them. And to each one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. And then listen to this part. It says, to each he gave them according to their own ability." And as I think of that, I think of a symphony, an orchestra. That in our world, God is writing his symphony, and he's invited us to be musicians that play our own instrument. And we each have our own abilities to use in that. As I look at the Pathway Guide here, I look at Dig Deeper number 2, and it encourages us to read 1 Peter 4, 10 through 11. And verse 10 says this. It says, "As each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God." Saying, hey, those talents that God has given us based on our abilities, the unique ways that he's made us, that some of us are violins and some of us are oboes, he gave us those talents to minister to one another, that we get to play a part in the symphony God is writing in our midst. Well, this week I'd encourage you to take a moment, take 60 to 90 seconds and just ask God this simple question. God, what instrument do you want me to play right now in the midst of the symphony you're writing in my life? What are the unique abilities and talents that you've given me, and how might I be able to use them in our world to benefit other people? In fact, let me pray that very prayer with us together today. God, I just thank you for the symphony you're writing all around us. Thank you that it is a symphony centered around your Son, Jesus. And I pray that you would help us each to determine the unique ways that you've made us and the abilities you've given us, the talents that you've given us to use in our world. And I pray that you would help us each to see right now, with this piece of the symphony that we get to play along with, what talent you would like us to use this very week. In your name, amen. Well, friends, I hope you have a great week.